Hey everyone, it's Emily, and today we are building a dark academia apartment in The Sims. I am so fascinated by this aesthetic and cottagecore and just all of these aesthetics that before I guess people were doing, but they didn't have a name, and so now I feel like because there's a thing we can call them, they've become so much more popular, or maybe we're more aware of it. I don't know, but I just think it's really interesting. I guess TikTok is part of it, but also like Tumblr's been doing this for years, but I feel like these names haven't come up until the last year. I don't know. I did some slight research into where dark academia came from, and it's been a thing for a while, but it seems like the term for it happened within the last year or so. I don't know. I find it very interesting. I just wanted to build kind of a cozy, but also creepy isn't quite the right word. I don't know if eerie is either. I feel like dark academia and fall and winter go really well together, and I didn't want to do the typical fall Halloween apartment cutesy thing, so I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I thought this was a good way to do that. Also, I realized that I have liked dark academia before it had this label. The main book that dark academia kind of came from is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I read that years ago and loved it. It's still one of my favorite books. I actually am thinking about buying a physical copy of it because I bought it on Kindle and I read it as an ebook. Well, I didn't buy it on Kindle. I did, but I bought it for Kindle, but I literally just read it on my laptop. I really loved it. It was so good. I want to read it again, and I want a physical book because the account that I had used for that Amazon account that I had at the time was like an old student account from a school that I didn't even end up graduating from, and I can't access the email, and I don't know the password anymore, so I can't access any of the ebooks that I bought when I had that Amazon account. Very sad, but I like physical books better anyway, so it's fine. I have been going through this phase. I think I've mentioned this in every video, but I've been reading a lot more. Recently, I used to really love reading as a kid and even in middle school and high school, but then like late high school and college definitely fell off the wagon. I've probably read like one book a year, if that, for the last 5 or 6 years, which is sad, but in the last month I've read more books than I probably read in the last 5 years, so snaps for me for that. I don't know. I've been getting back into reading. That's the gist. And because of that, whenever I get really into something, I naturally go to YouTube because, surprise, YouTuber likes watching YouTube videos. So I've been watching all these BookTube videos, as that community is called. If you're not in it, it's kind of funny. I don't even think I'm really in it either, so it's funny to me. It's called BookTube, and it's just these people that, talk about the books that they're reading, and they do reading vlogs, which I find very interesting. Sometimes they'll just have this B-roll of them sitting there flipping through the pages of their book. Sometimes they're like taking breaks to talk about the book, but then if you're not really reading it with them, so if you haven't read the book, it's not. Sometimes it's interesting. It very much depends on the person for me. I guess it all comes down to personality and then reading preference, because I found once I read this one book that's kind of popular right now on BookTube, I have been able to find people's reviews of it, and then I found out the people that I like and have similar reading tastes to. So I've been finding a lot of new people that way, and it's been really interesting to get into this new YouTube community. But all of this to say that a lot of these BookTube people are really into dark academia as well, so that's probably another reason I was feeling these vibes. And a new book that I just ordered literally right before I started recording this is kind of a dark academia thing. It's like a magic school and there's death and whatever. I'm excited about it. A little bit about the apartment. It's just a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. We have a little laundry room area. I kind of struggled with this more than I thought I was going to. I was like, dark academia is going to be super easy because I totally know this aesthetic and it's going to be a breeze. But then I realized I kind of didn't. Like, I understand it in the sense that there's a lot of books around and it's like dark and that's about it. I don't know much else. I knew some of the vampire stuff would work well for it. I knew that probably some of the Realm of Magic stuff would work well. Maybe Get Together. Also probably, what is that other pack? University. Was it University? Yes, University. So I knew that those 4 packs would probably be used a lot, and originally this was supposed to be a limited pack build, and I was going to make a Dark Academia dorm and take one of the Brightchester dorms, and I was only going to use University, Get Together, because I feel like Get Together has a lot of those antique-y vibes. Antique, what a word. Yeah, but so I was going to use those packs and then Vampire's Realm of Magic, and it was just going to be a dorm. And I had probably gotten not even halfway through it. I did the floor planning, and oh my gosh, floor planning those dorms is a complete nightmare. So once I probably sunk a solid like 2 to 3 hours on that build and didn't even get to furnishing the dorm rooms because I was just so like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think an apartment was a little bit more manageable, especially because I've never built this way, and I felt like I was placing items that were in the theme, like an antique patterned couch, and then, I don't know, a giant bookshelf wall, because my whole concept of dark academia is within these booktubers, and they have these reading rooms and like personal libraries where they have all this stuff, but I then felt like I was taking a little bit too much of my personal preference and putting it into the build, and the whole point was to build within this aesthetic, so the dorms ended up they're starting to be super colorful. That just was not the vibe. We weren't going for the typical colorful Emily's personal preference vibe. We were going for dark academia, and I wasn't pulling it off, so I thought that an apartment would be better. The living room area, I was kind of trying to make it look like that was a record player. I know it's not really a record player. Why don't we have a record player in this game? I could have sworn that we did before I went to build that area. Then I realized we didn't, and the one that I had in my brain was the record player from Animal Crossing. So that was kind of sad. But I sized up some of the CDs and put them in the corner to look like records. I don't know if I pulled it off. I think I've seen other people do that before too. And I think it kind of works, but I don't know. And this living area is just a complete disaster. It takes me so long to figure out what to do with it and which couches to use. I really like that couch that I ended up using in the end, the one that's sitting there now. That's the final one. But I was trying to find another love seat that complemented it because I didn't want the really tall back to be in the middle of the room, and I was trying to do an armchair thing, but you'll see we switched around, we figure it out. This apartment just gave me so much trouble. I think it's because I haven't built apartments in The Sims in a long time, and I feel like I used to have not like a system, but just good intuition for all of the apartment layouts. And I know this is one of the more popular ones. It's one of the ones I like to build in and play in the most because it's small enough that you don't feel like there's a ton of wasted space, but it's also big enough that you can put in a lot of activities for your sim and still have a bedroom and a bathroom that's not a tiny closet. Even, I think the bedroom probably could have been a little bit bigger and I could have decorated it more, but I wanted the main focus to be on the living spaces, and then I made this kind of study room that we'll get to later. And I also ended up putting like a painting corner in here because I wanted to do that in one of my last houses that I built that was on a budget, but I didn't have enough money in the budget to do that. So I decided to satisfy the urge to create a painting space here. Also, another thing that I've been watching on YouTube a lot recently, do not ask me how I found this. I think the algorithm just said, you will like this content, and I said, yes, I do. But I have been watching these oil painting people. I don't know why I'm classifying these people who like books and people who like oil paintings as like different kinds of people than me, because I clearly enjoy both of these things. Well, I don't know if I enjoy oil painting. I don't think I'd be very good at it. Maybe I would. Maybe I should give it a try, because some of these videos have been targeted at beginners, and I think that's why they have been showing up on my feed. Regardless, I found this oil painting video, and there's this girl. Okay, so I found this video a while ago. I don't know. I literally do not know how I found this one. But this girl painted, it was a picture of her friend and it was like underwater and it was all oil paintings. And I think it took her like a year or 2 years to finish it or something, because it was this huge canvas. And it was so pretty, and it was so cool to watch the process of how, like, what colors she starts with, because that's something that I can appreciate a pretty painting, but I don't understand like where you start with something like that. So to see the whole process in a time-lapse form is so fascinating to me and very satisfying to see it come together. And I wouldn't have even thought that certain colors wouldn't be in the painting based on how the final product looks. I don't know, it's just so interesting to me. Does anyone else find these things that you yourself are not necessarily interested in doing, but you're interested by the process of someone who's actually skilled at it doing? That's one of those things for me, oil painting. I don't think I would ever try it myself. Maybe I will someday. Then this other guy was painting a face, and that's another thing, is like, I could probably pull off some Bob Ross landscaping happy trees scenario. I think I could make that work if it's a little bit abstract and it's like a landscape, but then people do these oil paintings of faces and they're so beautiful, and I just want to know how it happens. So there's this other guy that posts videos. If I can find these videos, I'm gonna link them in the description because I think they're really cool. And on the off chance that someone hearing about this wants to also enjoy them and be a nerd about oil paintings with me, then I want to allow that to happen. But yeah, this guy was painting a face, and then he had another video that was kind of like it was like a time lapse of him painting a face, but then he was also talking about why everyone should paint and draw. And it was so inspiring to me. And I wish that I were good at drawing, because that's the thing, my brain, if I'm not good at something, I don't want to do it. I would love to get past that mentality, and I think that I have in some aspects. Like, I've gotten to the point where I understand that I don't need to be perfect at everything to do it, but growing up, I only wanted to do the things I was good at. And we could be here for like the next hour of me talking about how that's affected my life, probably longer than that, but this isn't therapy, so we're not gonna do that. Yeah, this guy, it was just so inspirational to hear him talk about painting and drawing, and now I want to go get a sketchbook. I actually do have a sketchbook because I took a graphic design class a few years ago, and the first half of it was more like physical. It was visual and graphic design, so I guess the visual part was like the hands-on stuff at the beginning that I was not very good at, and I wasn't really good at the graphic design either, but we're not going to talk about it. So I have this sketchbook, and during that class, I was like, I'm going to be so good at drawing by the end of this. I'm going to doodle every day, and it's going to be great. And guess what? I didn't doodle every day because I was bad at it. Oh well, these things happen. And now I'm just making pretty houses and things in The Sims because I know I'm good at that. It's fine. I'll try oil painting someday. I'm making a commitment now. Someday I will try oil painting. I think I can hold myself to that. Will I try to oil paint a face? I don't think so. Maybe someday, I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't like saying that I'll never do something because you just don't know. Anyway, the build is pretty much over. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think my favorite part about this is the wallpapers, honestly, but I had fun trying to figure this out. I would like to take another stab at the dorm that I was working on, so that might be coming in the near future. Let me know if you guys want to see that in the comments. If you have any other ideas for apartment builds or anything at all, just let me know. But I will talk to you guys in a few days. Bye, friends!